When it comes to towing, seeing is believing. That's why Chevy Truck's advanced camera technology offers up to 8 available cameras for 14 unique views, so you can focus on the view that really matters. Chevrolet, together let's drive. Learn more about Chevy Trucks at Chevy.com. Safety or driver assistance features are no substitute for the driver's responsibility to operate the vehicle in a safe manner. Read the vehicle owner's manual for important feature limitations and information.
Okay, so today we're going to have a chat about the Northamptonshire Premier Cricket League, and we're joined by our old friend Tom Brett. How are we doing, Tom?
All good, thanks. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, good to see you, mate, definitely. And once again, king of the stats, my mate Hugh Newsom is sat up there in Wirksworth and that area. How are you doing, Hugh?
Flood dodging is what we're doing. Yeah, flood dodging.
I was going to ask, but we'll come back to that, obviously. So, Hey, listen, it's great to talk to you again, Tom, and let's get right to it. In that, you won the league with Finedon Dolben. You predicted you'd win the league. Was there any sticky bum moments during that running?
I think since our last chat, we got on a good roll, and we didn't have any moments where we didn't like losing, to be honest. I think once we got everybody back, we were quite confident. As I mentioned before in the last show, we obviously lost to Brigstock when a lot of our guys were on holiday. Yeah. So we left it all to do, but luckily the lads all committed and didn't swan off on holiday. Yeah. So yeah.
I think you, after that loss to Brigstock, you won 6 back-to-back, didn't you? And that got you there. And obviously Peterborough, they did beat Brigstock in the running. That helped you as well. That
was a massive favour, yeah. Without that, we would have been second. So, yeah, thanks to Peter.
You did predict Peterborough would come second and they ended up in 4th place. I think they were probably a bit disappointed with that in the end, weren't they?
I think so. The team they've got, you think they'd be top 3 every time. I thought they'd be second, but Brigstock were sort of the underdogs and had a really good season.
Definitely. And what about at the bottom of the league? You had Overston Park have gone down, and Wollaston were very close to them in the end. Was that a bit of a shock, Overston going down?
I think it was always going to be quite a tight one. I think with Overston, they have a lot of some weeks they'll have some of the young Northampton lads play for them. If they're not there, then they probably did look more like a relegation candidate. But for a lot of weeks, they had the Gus Miller, Alex Russell, the leg spinner, Harry Golston, the keeper. James Sales sometimes. So sometimes they have 4 county lads playing for them. So that's going to help you stay up. But unfortunately, they weren't available every week. So
yeah, definitely. So who were the standout clubs for you, apart from yourself, obviously winning the league? Who stood out as maybe a bit of a surprise during the season in the Northamptonshire Premier League?
Well, yeah, Brigstock, obviously, they're leading for most of the season. They were a big standout. Obviously got really good overseas. And some of the younger lads stepped up. And Mohammed Saif with the bat. And then Danny Mohammed sort of going back there from Peterborough as a good all-rounder. So they had a great year, and obviously they took it really deep. They're probably the big standouts.
What about our friends at Oundle Town?
Well, yeah, Oundle as well. Yeah, can't not mention Oundle. And I think they'll probably stay strong now for a while. There's a few rumours with Brigstock that they haven't got a youth section, so there's a lot of talking being kicked out of the Premier League. I don't think it's happened, but there's a lot of chat about that, which would be a shame because obviously we want the league to be strong. They're a strong side, so hopefully they'll stay in. I think they have.
Definitely.
They literally got no youth section at all.
Yeah, you probably know better than me, but there's obviously a rule. If you're in the Premier League, you have to have a certain amount of youth teams. And I think they've ignored it for a few years now, but I think they've gotten away with it. As I said, it'd be good for the Premier League, but obviously having a youth setup is quite important, isn't it? Trying to keep the game going and develop everybody you can.
Yeah,
well, then it's good for the team as well, producing players coming through for their own benefit. So yeah, it's important that. So we'll follow that one with interest.
Definitely. Let's have a look at the batters, shall we, in the Northants League, Hugh? What we got there?
So Conor Craig, top of the run, 682 at 52. Mohammed Saif, 666 at 51. And Sean Davis, 658 at 59. I mean, in terms of numbers, they're not sort of up there with, a lot of the other Premier Leagues. The averages certainly are, but it's obviously not been a massively high run scoring year. If I just jump back a year, we had Josh Smith, Peterborough last year, 1,012 runs at 77, 900, Callum Beryl, 952 runs at 68. So, there was 3 guys with 900 or more last year, and that's obviously not been possible with weather and pitches, and it's been a more difficult year for the batsmen. But yeah, it's been a very solid. There's lots of guys, 9 guys with 500 runs or more, all averaging high 30s minimum up to sort of 60. Josh Smith averaging 60.
Yeah, it's not something we've looked at yet. I wonder if we can see, in terms of the 32 Premier Leagues around the country, is that the lowest number of high runs for a batter? Because it is low, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think not this year. It's been so difficult. I think you look at the strike rates. Strike rates are probably not quite as high. It's just been a difficult year for batsmen all around, hasn't it? So hopefully next year. I mean, even in Northants, which is the driest county in England, we've discovered from a cricketing point of view anyway. Yeah, it's been a tough year for everybody with holding the bat, but the bowlers have done well.
Definitely. How important was Sean Davis and Drew Brearley for you guys then, Tom?
Yeah, massively. I see them as younger lads, but they've been around for ages now. Just said how old I am. But Sean's sort of been pretty consistent for us ever since he came through as a teenager. And then Drew's our captain. He's obviously won back-to-back leagues now. He came across from the league below in Wellingborough. He came across quite young. It took him a few years, but he's the best player in the league last year. He won that, and now he's really consistent. And yeah, just on that, he's a player who should be playing NCCA. But we, with the Northamptonshire League, we haven't got anyone to play for. You have to be an outsider. So it's something that needs looking at, because that could help develop the game.
Okay, so Northampton doesn't have an NCCA team?
Well, no.
Because it's a first-class county?
Yeah, our closest one's Bedfordshire, but you have to be an outsider, and you can only pick 3 of those. So there's guys who are missing out, which is a shame. Like those guys you mentioned, they're obviously fine players, but they haven't got a platform.
That's interesting, that definitely. What about the overseas guys in the league? Who stood out for you during the season?
Well, Tashwin's always good. He's been around for years, but he's finished now, I think, which is a shame.
Finished as in retired?
Well, I think he goes back to South Africa every winter, I believe. I don't think he's coming back. He's done a lot of years now. So we miss his pace, obviously, the quality he brings. And then there's been some good batsmen this year. Wollaston have got a good Aussie, and Desborough had a good Aussie batsman as well, which is really good. We haven't had many overseas lately because of COVID, and this year there's been a few more, so it's made a big difference.
Is that Zakir Khawaja? Is he an overseas? Just
no,
Khawaja name?
No, he's played. He's been around for a long time now. Played a little bit in Northampton seconds as well. He's a good batsman.
But he's not related to a certain Australian Khawaja, though.
I don't think so.
We love a famous brother or two lurking around in the Premier League.
Yeah, or a famous father, as the case up at Little Leman, where we've got Jake Lehman.
Absolutely, yeah.
Without a shadow. Do you think Northampton is a league that hasn't attracted as many overseas as maybe one or two other leagues has, Tom?
Yeah, I probably think so. Obviously, I think, to be honest, we're probably not as strong as the leagues up north, the Birmingham leagues. Probably got a bit more money to play with as well, so you probably get the bigger names. But you hear of Carlos Braithwaite and that playing in the Birmingham league. We're not going to get that on a Saturday at our place, but we do get them. We just probably don't get the big names that you hear about across the country.
Slightly surprises me, because you're only an hour down the M1 to London as well. So people like living in that south area and doing it. It's not that far away, is it?
No, you think the potential's there, but it might just be more of a financial thing, I'd imagine, paying those big lads.
You mentioned Tashwin Lucas there, 48 wickets, that's 7.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a right arm seamer, is that correct?
Yeah. He's got some pace.
That's as low a bowling average for a right arm seamer as anywhere in the country. There's very few right arm seamers with those sort of numbers. What's he doing? What's so difficult to play about him? I mean,
well, he's consistent and he's got some pace. You don't see the pace as much in our league as you used to. So it's a bit of a surprise factor for the guys who don't face it every day in training. And obviously he can move it around and swing it. Yeah, and he just hits heavy length. He's a big, strong lad. So I think he has. I think he might have played some first class back home when he was younger. I might be wrong.
He has a bit, yeah.
Yeah, so he obviously knows what he's doing, and he's bowling on juicy decks on a Saturday, especially early season. It's going to be hard.
like you say, Hugh, anything under 20 is a good average. When you start seeing 7.1, you're in awe of someone like that, and that's a team carrier almost, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, he did, didn't he? He did for his team. He won him the league.
Yeah, definitely. And but then again, Mr. Craig, he wasn't exactly far off. 47 wickets, and he had an average 11.49. That ain't bad going either, is it?
Well, the Craig brothers are phenomenal, aren't they?
I'm just looking.
One can bat brilliantly and bowl very, very, very well, and the other one can bowl brilliantly and bat very, very well. So I mean, it's a nice combination to have at one club.
You can't go wrong with having two brothers who between them take 79 wickets.
And
And the runs on top of that, yeah. And the one with the worst average was at 16.47. I mean, any club in the country is going to take that straight away, aren't they? What about yourself, Tom? You obviously had a bit of a disjointed season because of your work in the NCCA. But you ended up with 27 wickets and got wickets towards the end in particular. How do you feel that went?
Yeah, no, I was happy with this season. I'm just always in and out of the team because of my work at schools on Saturdays. So it's nice when I get to play a few games in a row in the school holidays. Actually get into a bit of rhythm and contribute to the team, which was nice. And it was obviously nice to be there for the running. Obviously, that was a real crucial stage, and to play those last however many games in a row, 6 or 7 in a row, that was really enjoyable.
Definitely. Let's have a look at those bowlers then, Hugh, across the league. We've got obviously Tashford at the top and Mr. Craig second. Anyone else stood out for you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously just running down 48 wickets, Tashwin at 7. Economy is 2.46 as well. I mean, he's just gone for no runs as well. I mean, it's just a terrific performance. So we've got Harrison Craig, 47 wickets at 11. George Parker at Geddington. I don't know I haven't got it to hand. Is he spin seam?
Yeah, he's a leg spinner. He's a good bowler. Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, so he's gone for a few 4.7 and over, but plenty of wickets there. 38 wickets. Chris Perrett, Wollaston struggled down the bottom, but top performance there. 33 wickets, 19, and then Connor Craig, 32 wickets, rounding out the top 5.
It's clear from the amount of wickets that were taken, as we said earlier, that the runs were of a premium in the league last season. Wickets were being taken left, right, and centre. I looked at the running you guys went through. There was a lot of low-scoring games, wasn't there, Tom?
Yeah, there's a lot of early finishes.
Yeah, there was. I think. I looked at the Brigstock game on the last game of the season when I think they got bowled Old Northampton out for 60. And got them in 11 overs. That was one of the earliest finishes. But yours wasn't much better, was it?
No, we were finished quite early. It's quite a long night, that one, after that.
It's been a profitable season at the bar, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you bowled Peterborough Town out on the last day of the season for 141, that's a great effort, isn't it, to bowl them out for 141?
I think they almost, because they didn't have a lot to play for, it almost felt like that a little bit. Yeah, it rolled over a little bit, I think.
Well, the bowlers certainly did, because you scored the 144 for 1 of 22 overs, so they clearly wanted to fill their bar without a shadow.
Yeah, I felt that way.
Yeah, and was the end of season like that? It was everyone was going at it hard, and as a consequence, things either went really well or really badly for clubs, basically. Yeah,
I think so. And obviously, it's rare for Peterborough. Normally, you go there and it's really tough. But I think they'd secured their place in the league, and it felt a little bit sort of anticlimactic for us. Obviously, we just won the league. We had to win the league, and it was a bit like almost a bit too easy compared to normal. When you go there, it's normally really, really hard.
Yeah, you could have done with them potentially. Brigstock could have done with them winning a couple more games, couldn't they? Because then it would have really pushed it to the end of the season.
Yeah, definitely. That's what you want. You want it to be sort of want it to be a big moment when you win the league, but it was almost a bit like
So what were the standouts for you this season? The standout moments for yourself, or standout performances?
The big one for me is the captain, as I mentioned earlier, Drew Brearley. If it gets tough, he normally puts his hand up. He's really, really combative. Mm-hmm. He's got an edge to him. I think most people in the league on the pitch would probably say he's a bit of a character. He's a massive winner. But he gets us out of trouble a lot. And obviously, Sean's been really consistent this year. He plays some really flair shots. He likes whipping it across the line and picking it up, running up the seamers in the first over. So those two are always really good to watch. Yeah, they're entertaining.
Now, we talked about bowling and batting there, but what about the all-rounders then? To you, our favourite subject, who stood out in the Northants League?
Well, the Craig brothers. I mean, you might as well
just keep saying the Craig brothers.
Craig brothers podcast. I mean,
that is the title of this one. Yeah. Sorry, Tom.
Those two guys, and then Tashwin. I mean, Tashwin sort of sneaks in there with an all-rounder point of view. 119 runs at 17. So, I mean, I wouldn't get those runs in this league. But and Drew Brearley, there is again 476 runs and 26 wickets. That's sort of the non-Craig brothers all-rounder list. Mohammed Saif, 600 runs and 15 wickets. So, they're good contributions across the team then. But yeah, I mean, probably Drew Brearley there, 476 and 26 wickets. That's a massive contribution to the team. There's one young bowler actually, and we'll come back to some young players. One lad jumped out at me because he didn't have the best time with the bat. He got quite a few ducks. Riley Marshall, Desborough, didn't have the best time with the bat. A few ducks. I think he's an under 17, but bowling wise, 29 wicket, 18 Premier League wickets at 29 for an under 17 bowling team. So did really well. I had a quick look at some video of him, came on, and he looked good and looked like somebody who can really ramp up those wickets over the next sort of couple of years, really. But did
any
you
club
get
with a 17, 18-year-old taking 18 wickets in the Premier League is going to be laughing all the way, aren't they?
Absolutely, and he did. I think these young lads coming in to Premier League cricket is very tough. It's a very, very high standard. So for him to what looks like a disappointing season with the bat to have done so well with the ball is excellent. Was there any other standout young players that you noticed through the season?
The lad you're talking about there, the tall seamer at Desborough, all the lads sort of said, he's got a bit about him. And obviously, because he is only 17 and you're a seamer, he's got some filling out to do. So probably got more pace to come, and he already gets it through quite nicely there. So he is one to watch. He did get talked about quite a bit. But yeah, he's the main one I can remember in terms of the young lads. But it's good to see. That's what we need. The young lads coming through.
What's your league like for blooding the youngsters? Is it? We find that some leagues very much Premier League is, I'm not going to say the old timers because it's clearly not the old timers, but the youngsters don't come through quite as quick, maybe because they're spending money on professionals, spending money on players. Do you find the youngsters come through yours quite quickly?
Yeah, I think so. As you said, they're not blocked out by loads of professionals. So if you're doing the business in the twos, you generally get a game. We've got a lad at Finedon called Shannon Patel, did the Bunbury Festival. He played a lot more in the first team this year. He's really exciting. So yeah, there is some really good players knocking around, and you do get the opportunity in the NCL, that's for sure.
And you've certainly got a big setup when it comes to youth at your place as well, haven't you?
We're lucky with that. Yeah, we are lucky. It's a massive thing, isn't it? I just think you can't not have one. That's the future of the game. You've got to look after it.
Tell us, Jude, looking through the off-season now, what for your club and Premier League clubs around Northampton, is it you're all off for a couple of months now and then?
Yeah, probably be January, February. Get in the indoor school, get together, and then bit of social, and then ready for the April to come round again.
And looking forward to next season, what sort of thoughts have you got for you guys? You guys will be looking for 3 back-to-back, which would that's something for any club, isn't it, to say the least?
Yeah, I think can't say anything officially yet, but I think we've got a couple of lads that are quite keen to join. It will strengthen us even more, so I think we'll be there or thereabouts. But I've heard a few rumours about Peterborough. I've heard of rumours about the Craig brothers maybe going there. So if that comes true, then they'll be right up there as well. That's just a rumour. You know what it's like, the old rumour mill.
I was talking to somebody about this 2 weeks ago, funnily enough. The rumour mill in Lancashire seemed to just go rife the day after the league ended.
Straight away.
It was all over the place.
I think it's how many rumoured Twitter accounts there are. The more rumoured Twitter accounts, the more rumours get generated. So they need content, so they just make it up as they go along. Yeah,
well, we could start one ourselves, Hugh. Couldn't we? Just Premier League rumours.
Yeah, just you can automate it. Just link to X team, X club, and it just automatically generates a rumour, and just stir it up through the winter.
Could we do something on Play Cricket where we just almost have a draw, a lottery to see who's moving and just throw them out there?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We could do that. Although I could talking to some of the NCCA lads, they're all aware of movement going on left, right, and centre around the leagues now. I think it's sort of you have that sort of 6-8 weeks, don't you, post season where not a lot tends to happen, and then all of a sudden the chairmen start to get itchy feet, and the club coaches are saying, "I want this, I want that," and those little quiet conversations in quiet corners start to happen. I think, Tom, don't they?
Seems that way, but if that does happen, obviously it'd be a really competitive top sort of 3-4 next year, which would be good.
Definitely. And for yourself next year, going to play some more NCCA, obviously.
Yeah, it sounds like nothing official yet, but it sounds like with Staffordshire, and see. Hopefully, I can keep going longer than that, but we'll see.
Well, with that big youth setup at your place, you could probably bring some out now. They've got to be. You're an outsider for Staffordshire, though, aren't you? I think.
Yeah. I'm outsider. Me, Liam Hurt, and Matty Morris, the 3 outsiders.
Yeah, and there's a few of your Staffordshire boys have been moving. Neil Priestley's moved from. He won the Premier League at Swarkston. He's now gone to Checkley. Might have something to do with your skipper at Staffordshire, I think.
Well, and the coach is there. The coach is there.
Definitely. Hey, it's been great to talk about the Northampton Premier League, Tom. Thanks for your time once again. We know where to reach out when we want information next year, when we're plugging the leagues week in, week out. And obviously we'll be looking out for you guys at Finedon and at Staffordshire.
Thanks, Ian. Thanks, you.
Thanks a lot, mate.
Thanks, Tom.
So thanks to Tom for that chat. It was great to speak to him again, Hugh. He's obviously becoming a friend of the pod, isn't he?
Yeah, he's always a good person to talk to, and a brave man to talk to as well. He spoke to him briefly earlier in the year about his thoughts on the coming season. He predicted Finedon Dolben would win it, and they did. So
he doesn't sit on the fence in the slightest, does he?
No. A lot of other people we've spoken to through the leagues have, refused to comment on their seasons until the season had ended. So I think that was a brave move. Showed the confidence he had in his team.
I think what's fascinating for me is that league did go down to the last day, but then the last day was quite a simple one for all of them in the end, wasn't it? Finland won. The results that had come together in the previous weeks, it made it relatively simple for them in the end. To beat Oundle Town with, the name of the episode is the Craig Brothers episode. I mean, we've talked about all-rounders recently quite a lot, but the Craig brothers, they are phenomenal.
Well, they're I assume they come as a package, and to have that package in your team is a serious couple of cricketers that would grace any Premier League side in the country, I would think, and improve it. So yeah, they're a terrific pair. So I'm just hoping they don't fall out of a family dispute at a barbecue in the summer. Well, maybe every other club in the county is hoping that they're going to be down there, trying to interrupt the family barbecues with some juicy gossip to try and split them up. But
they definitely add massive value with bat and ball for both of them, don't they? And, we've been talking about all-rounders quite a lot recently with our friends at Hornchurch, as we know, and we talked about Adil being possibly the best all-rounder in club cricket. The Craig brothers aren't far off, are they?
As a unit for the two of them, they both just complement each other really, really well. Runs, wickets. I'm just looking here back at the stats. I think we commented in the episode just gone there, but over 600 runs at 52 and 47 wickets at 20 for each other. And then each other backs up the other one in terms of runs and wickets as well. So they're just a very consistent run-scoring, wicket-taking combination. I think they're just a sort of a league-winning pair on their own.
Yeah, and we'll keep a close eye on them going forward as well. So we've got some good stuff coming up in the next few weeks. We've got, obviously, after today, we've got an extra episode we're thrown in on Thursday this week, where I'll be talking to Kiara Green and Beth Morgan from the England Women's NCCA team. Let me put that another way. The winning England Women's NCCA team, who were European champions just prior to Christmas.
Fantastic.
Be great to talk to them. But then we've got some pre-recorded stuff that we're going to put through the next couple of weeks from Leicestershire, Ollie Freckingham. We've got Rob Maggs from Bath Cricket Club. That's a phenomenal chat. We really enjoyed that one, didn't we?
Terrific, yeah. And it's Bath are a big club and a big organisation, and it's really fascinating to hear how it's being run, and there's a huge amount of insight there from Rob.
Definitely. And then the last one we got pre-recorded as a sort of review of last year was with the guys from Heaton. Again, Greater Manchester League, one of the biggest leagues in the country. Phenomenal to hear what was going on in that league last year. And then we move into what we're going to start doing going forward. I mean, what's your episode you're looking forward to record the most at the moment then, Hugh?
I've been fascinated about the sort of the prospects coming through. I did some stuff on my Twitter feed before Christmas. Looking at these young lads, I've been able to pick out ages based on some of the stats, and it's given a real insight into who's really on the up and who's going to progress, because we all know how much the young lads improve year on year, especially those who are playing Premier League cricket. So it's fascinating to see, you can almost predict increases just because they're young. That everybody's going to improve, especially runs and wickets. So it'd be interesting to see how they develop this year going forward, and who we can pick out as the future stars for this year from that. Obviously we'll
who's
quickly
going to train on?
Yeah, we will quickly forget the ones we're wrong, and make a big show of the ones where we were right. That's human nature. We'll look into that and really see who's going to be the stars of this year and next year, and hopefully then the stars for counties and possibly England.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think the reviews that we've done so far with leagues up and down the country, there have been some phenomenal names that have been picked up from 15, 16, 17-year-olds. And we can just quickly look at the top 5, even top 10 bowlers, top 10 batters across the country who are under 18, under 19, who some of these guys are starting to just hit the second 11s for one or two of the first class counties, but a lot of them are also on the radar for the NCCA guys. And
I think that the NCCA guys are quicker at picking them up. Obviously the counties have more depth, certainly county twos. They sort of, a few of these guys get sort of passed around the county twos a little bit, especially those without deals. But the NCCA seem to be pretty sharp in picking up the young lads at quite a young age. Scanning through my data there, these young lads, a lot of them are already representing the Norfolks and Oxfordshires and Devons of this world. So I think it's those counties. It'd be interesting to see how many of these young lads make their first class list day debuts. Certainly list day, in the August comps, depending on what's it going to be called this year, or London or whatever it is at the moment.
Metro Bank
Bank. Yeah. Well, we'll see whether that one lasts. But I think a few of these lads might be making their first class debuts, having played so well in the Premier League in the season just gone. Maybe just a bit part, but I'm thinking Yorkshire. There might be a few coming through at Yorkshire for certain.
Definitely. And I think we'll also, in February, we'll definitely have a preview of the European Champions League, where we've got two of our Premier League clubs going out there. Wimbledon, who won the National T20 last year, will go out and represent. And Hornchurch, who came second in the European Champions League, have been re-invited back there as well. Big crowds going out with both clubs from what I'm hearing. I think it's a bit of an English takeover for one week, but we'd expect to do really well, although I wonder if one or two of those Jersey boys or some of the Irish teams are going to be out there again. You just don't know, do you?
Well, there's a few names we've heard about from Jersey knocking about the place as well, so I think they could do quite well. But I'm sure the lads going out there will have a really miserable time in Spain in the sunshine and the things, especially after this winter.
I'm not going to even get into that one, especially with the lads who've been badgering me to do a preview from Hornchurch.
Yeah, well, I think this now's the time to be demanding a sponsor. So we need Ryanair, we need hotel sponsorship. So if you run Ryanair or own Hilton Hotels Group, then please get in touch and give us free stuff.
I'll go above Hilton. I'll go hotels.com. We'll take anyone, to be
honest.
Well,
I'm not fussy. No, we just basically want a free holiday.
And the other thing I want everyone to look out for in February onwards, we're going to start doing previews, obviously, of the seasons coming forward in 2024, but we're going to have a little bit of a how to win the Premier League ongoing. We're going to pick a number of subjects. We're going to add it in each week. We might talk about bowlers, batting, might talk about strike rate, fielders, the importance of wicket keepers. I mean, the stats that you've got, Hugh, we could talk about all kinds there, can't we?
Yeah, basically want to use the stats to back up any sort of arguments and not pass our judgment, or my judgment. So just look at the data, what the data tells us in terms of league position through the leagues. And the issue we've got is we've got a lot of variable playing conditions through the leagues, win-loss cricket, time cricket, etc., and a mix. So we're going to try and sort of go through the key elements of each of those and what it takes for teams to win, and hopefully provide some insight to players and captains and supporters into what's important and possibly what's not important, because there might be a few bits of information there that might surprise some people.
Definitely. So we've got plenty to look forward to in the coming months, and then obviously we'll get through nets. I'm going to go around, see one or two clubs around the country while out and about, and then we get to April and we all cross our fingers for the 20th of April and the weather being solid, I think is the best way. All I'm asking for is solid weather.
Yeah. I think we're just asking for normal to resume, I think. That would be nice. And obviously they've got the Southern Leagues, generally the Southern Leagues starting a few weeks later. There's a bit of a mix. Certainly seems the Northern Leagues get going earlier, finish later. The Southern Leagues a bit more condensed with a few cup competitions lurking. And then the NCCA T20, I think, is the first thing to kick off.
April 28th, that starts.
That would be good. It'd be nice to get some good weather and some decent pitches for that, because that'll be a good watch. And it was very sadly hampered last year by the poor weather up until sort of finals day. It was a very limited programme, but finals day was good. So hopefully that will have a good run this year, and we can see from that some performances and maybe some players showcasing themselves.
Great stuff. So listen out for our next episode. It's coming on Thursday with Kiara Green and Beth Morgan, and plenty to come from Premier League clubs in the coming months. If you've got anything that you think you want us to talk about or investigate, just give us a shout. You'll find us on Twitter, you'll find us on X, you'll find us on Instagram, or just drop us an email at tplcricketshow@gmail.com. Look forward to catching up with you later in the week again, Hugh.
Yep, good stuff.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Thanks for listening to the Premier League Cricket Show. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future episodes and stay updated on all the latest news, views and discussions from around the cricket's Premier Leagues. And be sure to follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram at TPL Cricket Show on both. Join the conversation, share your thoughts and connect with us and your fellow Premier League cricket fans. And hey, if you enjoyed the show, why not show us some love? Leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast platform, as it helps other potential listeners to find us when they're searching for cricketing podcasts. Thanks again for being part of the Premier League Cricket Show family, and until next time, have a good one.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.